welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Sharni Quinn. She is a certified life transformation coach, international wellness consultant, yoga facilitator, author, and speaker. Welcome to the show, Sharni.
Thank you so much, Ajay. It's so lovely to be here and to connect with you and your audience.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online form, especially when you talk of yoga. And I'm sure not just in India, you are right now, coming live from Cape Town, South Africa. So not just in this part of the world or that part of the world, but globally, a lot of people will benefit from what we will be talking about. So, Sharni, to understand from you, we'll be talking about, about how to redesign your life by doing less. Help us understand what is this redesigning of life all about, because you also talk about, that you inspire stressed out, overwhelmed, lost superwomen to unplug from the daily hustle and reconnect with themselves, realign with their purpose, and redesign their life for the better. Help us understand the basics. Help us understand. The rest of the thing will come later on.
Thank you. Yes, well, I just love to say that essentially for me, it's a message and a mission that I'm really passionate about, because I've been through this experience myself as well. So before I had redesigned my life was very busy. I was a business owner. I was also working in corporate before that. I was highly driven, very successful, doing my thing, and then eventually got to a point where I burnt out completely. So it was a real restructure of what my life needed to look like. And I've worked with so many women and so many clients, even in the corporate world as well, men included. And there's so many people out there who are just busy and pushing and striving and achieving, which is all amazing. But then there's no balance. So the redesigning your life is really about how to bring more joy back into your life and more freedom and more balance, so that we can come back to ourselves and really reconnect with who we are, with what our purpose is, and with how we can actually contribute in the world as well. And so often we're so busy, we don't have any time to really stop and think about that, or we're just too exhausted and can't really get through the day. So yeah, my mission is really to inspire mainly women women that are wanting to go through some kind of transformation or a bit of a rebirthing process, or wanting to re-look at their life, realign with their purpose, and really redesign their life for the better.
Right. I want to understand, if you talk about redesigning, how does one get started with redesigning a life which they have been designing for so long, and suddenly you ask them to redesign?
It is a challenge, I must say, because people are so used to doing certain things in a certain way. And often it's just habit. So we might be, going the same way to work or the same route every day, and then realizing, oh, wait, there might be a different way that's actually shorter or better for me. And that's just one analogy. But essentially, that's life for us. And how can we do things differently? And sometimes it's small little steps that make a big difference. Other times it can be huge, major life transformation that we go through. And it's really about just knowing what you need for yourself to get from point A to point B. So, essentially that's what coaching is all about. It's okay, I'm here now. This is where I want to be. How do I get there? What are those steps? And what I teach and what I love to share with my clients and with the world is really my 5-step process to redesigning your life. And I'll be so happy to share a little bit of that with you here today and with your listeners, because it's really simple. And I actually have written an ebook, and it's a free ebook for your audience to tap into. So definitely go and download that. That's at sharniquinn.com ebook. So you'll find that. And essentially it's called Superwoman Unplugged. And it's all about how to live your best life, but do it with less stress. So the 5 steps essentially, and as I said, there's more detail in the ebook, but essentially step number 1 is all about letting go. So it's letting go of things that are not serving you, letting go of old habits, letting go of maybe work situation that's draining your energy, maybe letting go of like toxic relationships. It can be that big, or it can be small little things of letting go of eating chocolate every single day. So it's just really going through what is not working for me, what is draining my energy, what is unhealthy, and how can I shift and transform that. So that's step number one. Then we get to step number two, which is all about recharge. And recharge is about coming back to balance, coming back to peace, coming back to stillness. And as a yoga teacher, I've taught I worked out the other day, more than 7,000 yoga classes and have been teaching since 2007. So it's been a while, and teach a variety of styles, but it's really tapping into that yin energy. So how can we be more gentle on ourselves? How can we slow down? How can we simplify our life? And that it's like recharging our batteries, like plugging ourselves, unplugging from the craziness and plugging ourselves back in. And that's really like plugging back into our connection with our intuition, with our energy. And yeah, so really recharging our whole system. And then step number three is all about flourish. So this is now, step number three is envision. So envisioning your best life. What does your best life look like for you? And it's different for everybody. So it's really tapping into what is my purpose? Am I living on purpose? Am I on track? Am I doing what I love? How do I plant the seeds to create the best life for me? And then step number four is then flourish. So flourish is all about going out there in the world, sharing your gifts with the world, and being able to really connect with others. So it's fine-tuning our relationships, having conscious relationships, feeling seen, feeling loved, and being able to give and receive love as well. And then step number five is all about manifest. So that's how we can manifest abundance in our lives and without having to work too hard for it. So allowing us to really be smarter rather than working harder, and rather attracting amazing abundance. And yeah, essentially that looks at those 5 steps, then look at all the different aspects of our lives. So our lifestyle habits, our health, our work, our relationships, and then our wealth as well. And yeah, it's a full life transformation experience, but I know that it works for me and it works for my clients as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are some of the things that everybody should know, and it is good that you are able to explain to them. Help us to understand how do people look at this when you tell you look at the end goal and rest you just remove. And but everybody wants to be to do so many things at the same time, and their end goal is what you tell is the being a superwoman. Especially some of the people, I would not bracket it only in terms of women, even in
No.
amongst men also. They want to achieve so many things at the same time, and that is how does that work when you are how do you trace that step? And you talked the second step you talked about in recharge. How do
Yes.
you recharge when you always want to be in charge? Even on holiday, you will look at controlling your team, recharge versus control. Help us understand these two parts. How do you untangle yourself, your mind out of these two things, either for men or women? But especially if you, because you use the word super women, this unnecessarily, I think, puts a lot of pressure on women. Even without telling them that they are super women, God has made them as superwomen. That's my belief. I come from India. We believe that
Mm.
women are they a lot of things, everything focus, moves around them, not otherwise. Things don't move around men. It moves
Mm.
around the household. It moves around the women. And when I mean household, it does not mean not working women. Women take care of
Yes.
responsibility of everything. And that is where I create that superwomen. Why do we unnecessarily have to put it? Use it. There's no harm in it, but don't put that burden of that superman. So help us understand about this end goal, recharge, and about control.
Definitely. And it is really interesting because so many of us want to control everything in our lives, whether it's our children or our husbands or our families or our work and just life essentially. And what I've learned, and I've experienced this for myself and just see it so beautifully with my clients, is the more we can actually surrender and release and let go and be slower and do less, the more that life actually provides us with these incredible gifts. So we don't have to be pushing so hard. And I totally agree with what you're saying about men and women. And we all have this masculine and feminine energy within us. And it's just really about finding that balance. And for women, over the years, we've just become, and for necessary reasons, obviously, there's a whole, in my ebook, I talk about the history of women and why we've got to this point of feeling like we have to be superheroes and do everything. But that's not our superpower. Our superpower isn't about pushing harder and doing more. It's really about being more in our feminine energy. And by doing that, by being more in our yin energy, then that's where we really attract abundance. That's where we attract the relationships that we want to have. That's where we attract the jobs that we want to have. And for men, it's just a little bit of a different formula. But in the end, the society nowadays, which is very much a Western society, is all about pushing and doing too much. And that is then, it's glorified. Being busy and doing too much is being glorified. So it's almost like undoing the rewiring of how we've been brought up and what we think is successful. But I know that success isn't about doing more. It's actually about doing less. And I remember actually being in an ashram in India. I love India. And I was in Trivandrum in Kerala. And we were at the Shivananda ashram, and it was so spectacular. Actually, I've been there twice after my burnout episodes. I went there to go and heal and did my whole Ayurvedic detox and panchakarma, and such a beautiful experience. And I remembered some of the ladies there, they didn't want to do the gentle yoga because they were like, oh no, but we've got to do the hard yoga and the intermediate class, and we've got to push. But we're doing 2 hours or 2 classes of yoga a day. So that's 3 hours of yoga every day. I'm going, it's okay to rest, ladies. Like, you don't have to be doing that and trying to go for walks and hikes and runs and everything in between. And when we rest, our body comes back into balance. And if we look at it from a physiological point of view, that's when your sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system come back into balance. And that's the whole part of rest and digest that our body really needs. And so when we're in balance, everything just flows and everything works and everything life just gets a lot easier. And it's proof over and over and over again for myself and my clients. And what I love is, after living in Bali for the last 5 years, is just having a whole different culture there where they do live a much more simple life, and it is at a slower pace. And it's just so beautiful to be able to really enjoy life for the moment, not always striving and achieving. So yes, we want to have goals and we want to work towards something, but it's also about being open, because sometimes life is most times life works out differently than what we expect. So it's really about the feeling that we want to be manifesting and want to be creating, rather than the actual goal that we have to have it in a certain way. And just being open to, not controlling the situation, but being able to really invite whatever the best situation for us and invite that in.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sharni. So, where does yoga come in when we talk about control? You see, yoga is a lot about breathing, and when you breathe slowly, when you take the right kind of air into you, you let yourself loose, and it is inhaling life actually, and life has to be inhaled in a slow manner, and then you actually enjoy it. It's like tea, coffee, or whatever it is. You just don't you know uh, take it down like a strong tequila. It is something that needs to be taken very
Yes.
slowly. How did you come across yoga? How do you bring yoga into people's life? When do you inject this part of thing, when and beyond, when you talk, and when does then yoga come into it?
Well, yoga's been an incredible tool in my life. It's literally has saved my life numerous times. And I was when I first was living in London, I was working in advertising in London, and I first found yoga there at one of the gyms. And I mean, that was years and years and years ago. And remember thinking, oh, well, what is this? But it wasn't really a big thing. Nobody really knew about yoga. And when I came back to South Africa and started my own advertising agency, I remember going to a yoga class, and I was so exhausted because we were working. I was at my computer at 5:30, working till 8, 9:30 at night, no breaks in between, like flat out. And I remember going to a yoga class at the gym as well, and just being like, wow, it was combination. It's that combination of breathing, of meditation, of relaxation, of movement and exercise and stretching your body. And like I couldn't believe how it calmed me down, how it helped with my anxiety at that time and my stress levels. And so then I started going to a yoga studio and I just fell in love with yoga and I was like, this is my life. And soon afterwards, then sold my shares in my company and got out and decided I'm going to be a yoga teacher. I need to share this message with the world. And yeah, I've been teaching yoga ever since. And it's just such a beautiful experience because I've taught yoga here to the kids in the townships in Cape Town, who don't have anything in their life. And I've seen how yoga has made a difference to them. And I've taught, wealthy women and taken them off to retreats in Bali. And so there's a whole range of people who have had this exposure to yoga, and I can see the difference. It is so incredible. And yoga is just a really beautiful tool to not only for stress management and to slow down and to stretch our body and to touch our toes, but to also reconnect with ourselves. And for me, that's where the magic happens, because it's the meditation, the breathing, and it doesn't matter what religion we are. It's just really about getting in touch with our own essence and maybe that connection with God as well. So it is about that connection to source. And when you do lots of yoga, you also then so in tune with your body. And you know what your body needs, when your body's tired, when you need to rest, when you've got a lot of energy and you can really push through. So it's really about fine tuning all of that and having that balance. And yeah, my program, the whole program is going through those 5 steps that I spoke about earlier. But we also it's a combination. Everything is a combination of body, mind, and soul. And so the body part is bringing in yoga classes. I've got yoga videos that people do, and it's all around specific themes. And I do this with my coaching as well. So a lot of people, when they coach with me, they get the program as part of that. And I also have another program, Asia, which I'd love to talk about. It's called Burnout to Bliss. So this online course it's a simple, easy Burnout to Bliss. Well, I wouldn't say easy, simple course. It's 5 days. It's an hour video each day. Plus you get worksheets. And in there, we cover things like exercise and yoga and the benefits of that, and nutrition, and all the simple tools, the day-to-day stuff that people can implement in their daily lives. My life transformation program might be a bit too scary for some people, so they start off with that one, Burnout to Bliss. And I'd love to give your listeners a $20 discount on that, so they can get the code in your show notes. But essentially, yeah, it's $47. So for your listeners, it'll be $27. So I highly suggest going to check that out. And I'll share more about the benefits of yoga there and why it's so important to just have that in our lives on a daily basis. And for me, it is a daily practice. So meditation every morning, yoga practice, the physical asanas I do a few times a week. And yeah, I don't know where I'd be without my yoga and my meditation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that. I will include that in the show notes, and I'm sure a lot of people will certainly make use of that. In terms of, in a nutshell, we talked about the coaching program. Obviously, I was about to ask about that. Good, you talk. In a nutshell, if people want to live the kind of life you live, ditch the cubicle and live in a tropical island, everybody wants to do it, but then nobody wants to leave things behind. You want to carry the baggage, and with that baggage you want to reach a new place. In a nutshell, if you can tell people how they can live the life of their dreams, what they have to leave behind, what they will gain out of it, what are the few things that they should remember, they can remember, and which will make them take that big leap towards the life that they want to live.
Yeah, sure. Well, there's so many, yeah, so many things to be able to follow and tips. I could talk about this for ages, but in a nutshell, essentially, there's a beautiful saying that says, "Jump and your life will appear." So it's all about having the courage and really trusting what is your intuition. And we all know that feeling of, I'm not happy in my job. I'm not happy in the situation, but I don't know how to change it. And we get so stuck in this mindset that we can't do anything else. And we just have to suck it up and this is what we need to do. And what I love is that when my clients that come through to me to do my 3 months program, which essentially is the Redesign Your Life program, they're often at a point where they're like, okay, I can't live this life anymore. What can I do to change it? And we go through the step-by-step process, and I support them through that process because it's scary, and trying to do it on our own can be really daunting. So having support or a cheerleader, and having me there supporting them really helps. But essentially, when you let go, you're letting go of stuff that's not working for you. So it's like the autumn leaves that are, it's come to the end of summer now. Well, autumn's happening, the seasons are changing, and the leaves naturally fall off the tree. But where we come in as humans is we're trying to keep those leaves attached. We want to stick them on. We don't want to lose what we've got. And in the meantime, it's just a beautiful natural cycle. And when we let those leaves fall, the leaves then start nourishing the earth, and then they nourish us, into the roots of the tree. So just a beautiful analogy of being able to really release into what is, and let go of what's not working for you means that you're gaining so much peace, you're gaining freedom. When you have less stuff and less baggage, oh my word, life is amazing. I've been traveling around, living in Bali and traveling around islands, but I have like 4 bags of clothes, and that's all that I own, and I don't need more than that. So we don't need all of this stuff, but it really is about releasing, letting go, but trusting your intuition. That is the biggest thing that I can really suggest, is knowing what is your best life look like for you. Figuring out, getting clear on what that is, trusting your intuition, and taking the steps to be able to just take that leap. Take that leap of faith and totally trust the process, and just get some guidance and support along the way. That's always super helpful. But it's so much better than sitting in the comfort zone and sitting in a place where you're not happy, because eventually your body is going to give in and something is going to fall apart in your life. So before you get to that point, just have that courage and start designing the life of your dreams.
Absolutely, have that courage and just start. So how can people get started with you? What is the best way for them to learn more from you, more about your coaching, more about the best way to get connected with you if they want to engage with you professionally?
Yeah, sure. Well, they're welcome to go to my website, which is sharniquinn.com. And I have a lot of free resources on there. So beautiful blogs that they can read. I've got my online courses as well. But I'd say the best way is to really set up a call with me. So I'm offering free 30-minute coaching calls, and there we discuss where that person is in their life, where they want to get to, and then what steps they would need to get to that place that they want to get to. And then we can work out what is the best way that I can help them to support them in that process. And yeah, I'd love to connect with them, love to jump on a quick call. So they're welcome to connect with me there. And if they're not ready for that yet, they can download the ebook, and I send weekly wellness tips and inspiration via email that they can connect with. And I'm also always posting on Instagram. So yeah, they can reach me on the normal platforms. But I love to really, guide people in this process, and super passionate about supporting people on their journey and being the cheerleader for them, because I know what it felt like for me when I was burnt out and had nowhere to go and didn't know what to do. And just having a helping hand that I've been through this journey myself as well. Yeah, I'm really there to support them.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.